video.
Back here, first things first, Urban Meyer announced yesterday he will retire after his Buckeyes face Washington in the Rose Bowl. He's been battling effects of a cyst in his brain, which caused severe stress-related headaches, something he's been dealing with for years now. Meyer spent 7 years at Ohio State, winning over 90% of his games, including a national title in 2014. Here is Coach Meyer.
My goal has always been to make this one of the premier and most comprehensive programs in America. It has always been a goal to see a healthy, strong program handed to an elite coach in person to make it even better. And I want to congratulate Ryan Day and his family. We've worked extremely hard to make the great state of Ohio, the university community, including our alumni and former players, and Buckeye Nation very proud.
Cece, yesterday when this news broke, you talked a lot about Urban Meyer, the man, your friend, the coach. Today I want to ask you from Ohio State's perspective, where does his retirement leave the university? Where does it leave the Buckeyes?
Yeah, I think we're in good shape. We covered NFL, and we covered very so hard. Right now in the NFL, everyone's looking for the next Sean McVay. And Ohio State, Gene Smith, Urban Meyer, they feel like they got the Sean McVay that they wanted. Not only from an offensive standpoint, but with energy and creation of offensive, explosive football. Like defensive football, it will always be a part of the game. It's significant. But if you can't play offensive football, if you can't throw the ball, if you can't come up with creative things based on your fan base and based on the kids, what do the kids want to do? A lot of times, man, kids is not, oh, coach, I believe, because they see so much spread, they see so much 4 or 5 receivers on the field. That's the way they want to play. And Urban Meyer, he's been a part. Not only was he able to create a great legacy there at Ohio State, but he was able to be a part of the transition plan. So they've recruited very, very well over the last 5 years. And Urban's been there 7, but I like to look at a 5-year window because that's really the cycle in college football. So they're stacked. They had a couple good quarterbacks on their roster. If Haskins comes back, let's not forget Haskins is a sophomore. He's not a redshirt junior, so he could play 2 more years at college. They got Tate Martell, the kid from Vegas, who was a 5-star recruit, I believe built in the I would say the more of the mode of the quarterbacks Urban had before, where they're a dual threat, all right? He can throw the ball, but he can also run the ball. Not too different than the quarterback that was Ohio to J.T. Barrett. Not too much different than him. Skill-wise, man, they got stacked. They got a 5-star recruit coming from Austin, Texas. I know everyone's out there trying to visit him today, but he reaffirmed his commitment yesterday. They got another. He softened up. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nick Saban is on the trail. Yeah. He's going to visit the kid that we have, Jordan Battle at St. Thomas Aquinas. He's a 4-star safety. Nick Saban's got a home visit today, so people are trying to get Urban's recruit. Yep. But man, it's stacked at Ohio State. They got good players, and people tend to forget. Urban did take over a team that the program for that 1 year was not in good shape. But Jim Tressel was 56-9 his last 5 years at Ohio State. So they have been winning. They have always won, and they will continue to win. And not only Urban Meyer is committed to them winning and committed to Ryan Day, not only people like him, but people like myself. We're a big part of the university, and we're committed to making sure that Ryan Day is going to be a winner, and we're committed to showing him the resources, and the same thing all those other coaches had a great opportunity to do. John Cooper had, Tressel had, and Urban Meyer had after that. So we're going to support him the same way we supported Urban Meyer.
I've heard you talking about Ryan Day for quite some time now, before any of this news became public. And I know we talked about his history as a coordinator up against the D coordinator at Michigan when that game was coming up. I know you have tremendous faith in Ryan Day, and I know obviously Urban Meyer did. I also know from being around you for the last couple years, I've learned more about Ohio State's history than I ever thought I would. I knew they were one of the all-time great programs, but they have won in basically every generation. So I understand that. I also think people should know, even if they will be fine without Urban Meyer, you cannot truly replace Urban Meyer. Like, Urban Meyer has coached college football for 17 years. From 2001 to 2018, he's coached every year except for the 1 year off. If he wins the Rose Bowl, he will have 187 wins. That is exactly 11 wins per season. That's despite having 4 years where he coached at Bowling Green and Utah when there was only 11 games in a regular season. Since he's been at big-time programs at Florida and Ohio State, he has 3 national championships. All elsewhere on his resume are 2 undefeated seasons without a national championship when he wasn't eligible, literally his first year at Ohio State and figuratively his last year at Utah. Like, he is right behind Nick Saban as the unquestioned second greatest coach of this era of college football that dates back to basically when Chris was playing. And so that is who is walking out the door. It doesn't mean Ohio State's going to crumble. It's not a situation where if Boise loses Chris Peterson and they have to totally rebuild things. Well, it's not that, of course, but they are losing a Mount Rushmore coach of the modern era.
And if it wasn't for his health, in the last year or so, Urban and I have talked about future, like what he wanted to do, and he talked about potentially coaching like 3 to 5 years. And this was last year. And it's nice to be able to talk about it now because now he's out of the game and everything. I can give away a lot of trade secrets and stuff. Urban,
his social security number is 128.
Yes, he likes ice cream. He likes warm bubble baths. But the thing about Urban was he really thought over the next 3 to 5 years, he was going to get in the college playoff at least twice. He thought he was going to have the ability to win a couple national championships. So that thought process will still be in place. Yeah, you can go over the records, what they've done the last 20 years, but I believe it's a special time at Ohio State. Man, we don't have any facility problems. Man, our schedule's set up nice. Gene Smith and the coach are moving forward in the same direction. And when you have quarterbacks, you know you're going to have big people. You're in the Midwest. We always have good offense and defensive linemen. So Ryan Day has set himself up that as Lincoln Riley, because they studied the Oklahoma model, Bob Stoops, and handing it over to Lincoln Riley. So that's what are they in the college playoff?
Yes.
Oh, okay, with the new coach?
Right.
Oh, okay.
After Bob Stoops takes them to the playoff, he leaves Lincoln Riley's.
So what Urban did, and in positioning this guy, it's one of the special transitions that you're going to be able to see in college football. Very, very rare to see. You saw the athletic director yesterday. Guy asked him, well, what have you talked to Ryan about? What are your expectations? Gene Smith reached across and said, not laughing, I expect you to win games. And that's the mandate of every Ohio State coach.
We talked last segment about the possibility of Harbaugh maybe leaving. Does Harbaugh now look at Ryan Day and say, oh, I got a shot. I'm going to stick around for a couple of years?
If Harbaugh doesn't look at this as, no matter how good of a coach Ryan Day will prove to be, if he doesn't look at this as an opening, then I don't know what's wrong with him. Now, that doesn't mean NFL dreams would trump that. But, of course, they're just for the same reasons that there are guys trying to go poach Urban's recruits. All of college football has to at least right now be saying there is an air of uncertainty until we see Ryan Day coach, just like there was with Lincoln Riley until we saw him coach.
Jim Harbaugh needs to do something that I've only seen a very few coaches do. And Bill Belichick, the greatest coach, he was the best at it.
Right.
Where understanding, yes, I've learned defensive, but how can I grow? How can I grow what I know from a football standpoint? Jim Harbaugh needs to go somewhere and understand the passing game and realizes this is not Bo Schembechler. This is not Woody Hayes. And I don't care if you're trying to do that in college or you're trying to do it at a pro level. You cannot run the ball through people. You can run the ball to be able to move it, but if you want to score points, you got to score points through the passing game. And Jim Harbaugh's best, when he was at San Francisco, people think he was a great offensive coach. They peaked from a passing game standpoint at 23rd. That was the best. Last year, his 4th year at Michigan, he peaked at 53rd ranked of 122 teams NCAA Division I. So, hey, Jim, man, you need to make some changes, and it happens with your passing game. It's not running game. No, the game is about throwing it, advancing the ball down the field through the air, and that's the part that Harbaugh has missed on.
You're asking for a reinvention. And what is the hardest thing for rich, successful, grown men to do, see? Change.
Oh yeah, or act broke.
Okay, sure. Yeah, but you're asking him to do. You're asking him to do something that is very. There's a reason it's.
Other coach, Urban Meyer, if you look at his style, never had a 1,000-yard rusher. What, Bowling Green, Utah? No, they used to throw the ball sideways, run speed sweeps. What has he done the last three out of the last 4 years?
He changed. And Belichick changed over this last decade from defense offense focus.
Nick Saban, what is he doing?
He changed. But we are talking about 3. So use the phrase again, Mount Rushmore guys. And Harbaugh appears to be a tick beneath that.
At least a tick.
A tick or two.
I mean, what does he want?
A tick or two.
Got to take a break.
You need to stay
Coming
off
up,
the coaches.
why is Klay Thompson taking a shot
seriously.
at LeBron next on First Things First?
Man, we need to have a meeting about this. Nick cannot analyze the coaches. Leave the coach. Stay out the coaching corner. That's my boy.
There's certain guys we say in the locker room, they're going to ball.